What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, doing a video in a style I've never done before because this is some really interesting news that's just crossed my desk. This morning I woke up and people had sent me a series of images that came out on Twitter and were immediately taken down. It seems like they were possibly leaked from some sort of an employee of a game studio, but I don't want to mention their name because it could get them fired. These are apparently leaked details about the upcoming PlayStation 5, which apparently is going to be called Project Epsilon. Now, every single console before it comes out usually has some sort of cheesy name, and this one is especially silly because Epsilon is the 5th letter in the Greek alphabet, so it's a little bit on the nose. So what this stuff is revealed is, basically, all games going forward that are being made by Sony are beginning development on the PlayStation 5 as of officially this month. Their internal documents say that starting now, April 1st, everything is being exclusively made for the Project Epsilon system. Something else that's interesting about this news is that it specifically states that they are going to have backwards compatibility for PS4 and PS4 Pro titles, but here's the thing. It seems like it's going to require the developer make an update patch that by default it won't work. Now, something else they mentioned is that it may run better on the Project Epsilon system, which isn't really that shocking because remember, that's something they provided with the PlayStation 2 back in the day. The PlayStation 2 at launch could play PS1 games, and some of them had default smoothing to make them look slightly better and not outdated. It seems like they may be trying to implement that as well with the PS5. Along with these details, we're getting some news about the actual hardware specs. It looks like it has an AMD Zen core, 8 cores, and it's a single chip processor. I'm going to copy and paste this stuff on the screen because I can't show you these slides since honestly they have tons of giant things on them that say confidential, don't share this anywhere or Sony will murder you. Something else they show here is that the GPU is going to be 14 teraflops with an AMD Navi based graphics engine. So this is a very new style of graphics, and this is the thing that's sort of making people question it the most because apparently that's really strong. They also mentioned that when it comes to memory, it's going to have 32 gigabytes of GDDR6 technology and 1 terabyte of a solid state storage drive. Now, this is massive. I talked to a lot of my friends who are much more computer savvy than I have, and they're saying that for a console, this thing is a monster that is just enormously powerful, which is making them think that perhaps Project Epsilon isn't itself the PlayStation 5, but just the development kit. Sometimes they'll release a special console before the actual console that's made to create games easier, so it's slightly stronger. Within these leak notes, there's also some really heavy emphasis on the fact that Project Epsilon is aiming for ultra-high frame rate games, making it where games are going to be a lot more accurate, and really they keep saying the word immersion, which makes me think that they're trying to exceed 60 frames per second. Now, once again, this really makes sense because some of the stuff that's been stated in other leaks is that they're really focusing on VR. When it comes to virtual reality, you have to have a very high frame rate or people like me get movement sickness. I get really ill if I'm seeing anything with a low frame rate inside of goggles. It just completely kicks my butt. So if they really are trying to make the PlayStation 5 a mostly PSVR kind of console or something that makes PSVR development easier, this note also makes sense. Now, the final slide that I was sent in all these leaked notes is specifically talking about 4K display support, making it where people who have ultra high definition TVs are going to display native 4K resolution. It's also trying to make it where if you're using an older game, like say a launch PS4 game that's being patched and upgraded, it's going to make it look better through super sampling. Now, as somebody who does not know a lot about computers and stuff, from what I've read, This basically means that they're going to try and make everything look as incredibly crisp as possible, and even if you don't actually have a 4K TV, it will try and create the most visually impressive experience as possible. So also it says that they're trying to aim for more HDR support, making it where every single TV can have some sort of extra deep coloring to it, making it where the blacks are deeper and make it where the brights are all the more crisp and colorful. So reading through all this stuff this morning, it seems pretty legit. I've also managed to trace back to who originally leaked them, and they are a real employee at a studio, but I don't want to say which one because, well, they could lose their job. I have a feeling that the person who got these images is not the person who leaked these images. It seems like somebody else managed to get a hold of them and they leaked them out by accident, or for whatever reason, here they are. Now, I do personally believe that this stuff is real. It just really rings true. As somebody who's seen a lot of leaks and also a lot of weird little sort of details like this, it seems very believable. But if it's not, I will fully admit that I'm wrong. Do me a giant favor, spread this video all over the place and kind of talk about these details, because this is really fascinating. Although they do not specifically state a 2019 release date, since already they're trying to hardcore start developing PS5 games, it's pretty believable that by summer or winter of 2019, we are going to have the PlayStation 5 on store shelves. So I guess we all need to start saving up money. From all the stuff that's mentioned here, it makes it sound like this is probably going to be a $600 system. So, well, hopefully somehow they get the cost down before then, but with everything I'm reading here, it's probably going to be pretty dang expensive. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. And I hope you enjoyed all this Dark Souls footage. I figured I'd just show some Dark Souls gameplay because I'm addicted to Dark Souls again. Oh, hey! I was just playing a little bit of Grand Theft Auto on my Darth Vader PSP. Are you curious what I'm going to come out with next? Well, if you click this button, you'll be subscribed to be the first to know. Also, if you click over here and here, you can see my latest review and my latest top 10. I promise, it was super good. Or it was really bad and I'm sure you can just make fun of me in the comments. Either way, it'll be a lot of fun. Thanks so much for watching.